Hey, thanks very much for joining me and welcome. It's Grant Asplund again, and I'm here with my good friend Mike Lopez. Mike, great to have you back. Mike, Director
Hey,
of
good to be back.
Services for Cloud at Access IT Group. How are you, Mike?
Doing great. Great to be back. Good to see you again.
Yep. Okay, so we've talked about just about everything on the list. Today, we're going to hit the last one on the list and close this out. We're going to talk about encryption failures. And, I kind of think that's a little oxymoron, isn't it? Encryption failures, isn't it a positive thing to encrypt? How can that be a failure? Why is it such an issue in the cloud? Because I do hear about it all the time. Maybe you can expand on it a little bit for us.
Well, right. It's almost like a failure to communicate, right? We have something here and we have an opportunity, a lot of storage, our drives, disk space, a lot of different aspects, even our traffic that we're seeing that's unencrypted. Why does that matter? Well, don't you encrypt your data on your laptop just in case it's lost or stolen? Well, of course, we all do. It's part of our corporate governance policy. How do we protect our client data? Well, the same is true in the cloud. When we put data somewhere, whether it's an operating system, our storage, our database, God forbid, or even our S3 or blobs, how are we storing them and are we encrypting them? And I see just a complete failure on a regular basis for databases that are unencrypted, for storage that's unencrypted. And you're just really giving the crown jewels away without making anybody jump through a hoop to get to them.
So part of the work, though, isn't there the whole rotation of keys and key management and maintenance? That is part of, I guess, the job is like patching is part of the job. Because isn't that where there's sometimes a breakdown?
Well, that is a breakdown, but first to get there, you got to remember, how are you storing your keys? What kind of keys are you using? Are you using the cloud native provided keys? Or are you using a customer managed key?
Right.
Those are the first steps, right? I personally am a big fan of customer managed keys. I don't believe in letting them, be it the cloud provider, have the ability to unencrypt my data without my knowledge. So I'm a big proponent of customer managed keys. But then you've got the different types of encryption keys and the different way they're utilized, which creates more complexity. And now we have to remember to rotate them, right? And we get to a point where, unfortunately, the easy way out is to just set them to never expire. Well, that's a problem. But when we set them to expire and we forget to renew them and refresh them, it breaks the application usually. And that's what we find. And so it's an ongoing battle that has to be beat, and it's got to be, the groundwork has to be laid first. How are we encrypting? What are we encrypting? What methodology? What key sets? What key pairs? And then who's responsible for maintenance and the ongoing upkeep of those keys?
Yep.
You rotate your password every couple of months for a reason. There's a reason to rotate your keys.
Yeah, well, I get forced to do that. I get this message that says, if you don't do it, it's going to die on you. So that's maybe one of the practices that has to occur, right? That nagware that says, I'm going to cut you off if you don't do it.
Well, that is right. We get that because that's what the policies set by our respective corporations. That somebody in security says this is what our policy is for password change, and it's done. And unfortunately, we're not taking that same approach. And I'm seeing it enterprises, small, medium business, all over, that it's not saying this is our policy with regards to encryption. It has to be encrypted at this level with X type of keys for Y period of time, and it should be rotated every Z. Unfortunately, those policies really don't exist. They exist on-prem, sadly enough, but we don't see them pushed up to the cloud quite as often as I'd like to.
So just the overall standard operating practices and procedures and documented way of operating within the operational guidelines laid down by the organization, right?
Correct. Following that governance that's outlined from the top down.
Yeah, really critical. And the cloud, come on, let's face it, it's so easy. It is one of those dangerous things because it is so easy, right?
Well, that's true. It's very easy, but it's also very difficult to understand the different things, the different ways we do things, and the way we get there. Unfortunately, you can't just click a button and everything works. We do have to understand how they work together.
Yeah, boy, isn't that the truth? Well, Mike, this has been awesome. So we set it up, I think, well. We've had a series of episodes that have kind of knocked down each one of these, and just a little plug for you guys. This is your game, right? I mean, this is one of the things you guys do is provide this type of guidance, this type of expertise, this counsel for people that are eager to get into the cloud, but maybe don't have the expertise themselves, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And everything that I talked about today is from experience that we've seen with our customers and things that we've seen, things that we advise on, whether it be from the architecture down to the cloud security posture management.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. I want to thank you very, very much, Mike. I always enjoy talking with you. I learn something every time. I consider you a great friend, and you guys are an awesome partner. So thank you very much. And
I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yep. Sorry, Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very, very much. Hope you enjoyed this little series, and maybe we'll be back with some more soon. Who knows? Thank you all.